It's midweek already. Good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse. We are live from our studios in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, a stark reminder of the country's worsening employment situation as we hear from some frustrated, unemployed graduates across the country hopeful of securing a spot in the ongoing immigration service recruitment. We'll take you live to the recruitment centers across the country where our reporters are monitoring events for us.
The whole Ghana recruited 2,000 is not enough because we have a lot of graduates who are not working, like just as myself, we are not working, nothing is going on. So recruiting 2,000 for me, I don't think it's enough, but at the end, it's Ghana for us. So.
Also this afternoon, a group calling itself Concerned Citizens Against the Lgbtqi bill are strongly refuting claims that by opponents of the bill that homosexuality is a mental disorder. We'll hear from them, plus get a global outlook of the debate on legalizing or criminalizing activities of LGBTQI+. Plus, the NDC has hit hard at the Electoral Commission for accusing former President Mahama of maligning the Commission and inviting the police to investigate his claims that the Commission printed 1 million ballot papers to favor President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 presidential elections.
This is untrue. This is a grave matter that undermines the credibility of our electoral process and should not be ignored. We call on him to provide evidence to support this claim. This is not a matter that should be ignored, and we call on the Ghana Police Service to investigate.
This afternoon, we are interrogating that matter further with the NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia and also have a conversation on a wide range of issues affecting the party. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities, Dignilu Affordable Safe Sanitation. Remember, we are streaming live on YouTube and all our social media handles at JoyNews on TV. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Danana Aisha. Always a pleasure to host you. Many thanks for choosing us. This afternoon, there's a stark reminder of the country's worsening employment situation as we hear from some frustrated, unemployed graduates struggling to secure a spot in the ongoing immigration service recruitment across the country. Many have slept in the open, endured the scorching sun as they line up in queues simply to get a job. Let's begin from the Greater Accra region, where many have thronged the Elwak Sports Stadium hoping to make it into the immigration service. JoyNews' Michael Papaniashali has been to the Elwak Stadium and now reports.
I'm 30 years of age. I went to the school at the age of 25 years, hoping to graduate and get a job, but it's not like that. When you finish school after national service, you have your national service certificate, you'll be applying for a job. But you cannot get it because Ghana does this. I don't know how the system works because what we know is after school you should get a job, but when you complete school, it's not like that again, and you have to be struggling, getting linear jobs for yourself to get some money for yourself. So that's the situation we find ourselves in.
How is the job hunting process going for you?
The job hunting is not easy at all because after national service, we all want to finish and get a job, but the stress after national service is not easy. Writing application here and there, you're not getting a job. Some people promise you and failing, and that's how it is. It's not working for us. That's why we are here. It's not easy. When we came here, the queue was so long, but God willing, I happened to pass through the process. So we are just hoping to write the aptitude test and see what we will get at the end. We are many. The whole Ghana recruited 2,000 is not enough because we have a lot of graduates who are not working, like just as myself, we are not working, nothing is going on. So recruiting 2,000 for me, I don't think it's enough, but at the end, it's Ghana for us. So.
To the Upper West region, where scores of job seekers stormed the Waspo Stadium ahead of today's screening and documentation exercise for the Ghana Immigration Service. Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports they carried mattresses and slept in the dark and cold with the hope that they will be recruited into the service.
Like I said earlier on, I came home, though the outside wasn't easy. The crowd was very tough and there were a lot of pushing outside there. But later the officers came and organized us. They made sure they kept the queue in order and they were counting 20 to go inside. So when I went in for the first stage, they took my PDF printout and they scanned it to know whether I was qualified or not, whether it was authentic or not. So after that, I went, they took my height and they checked through my details again and took me inside the room and went through my body to know whether I was having a scar of tattoo or a scar of surgery. And after that, they brought me outside and told me I'm done. So for now, I'm hoping to receive an SMS to come on Saturday and write the exams.
How early were you here?
I came home somewhere 5 a.m. But as at them, some people said they were here too. Some said 1 a.m. So I don't know. Because when I came, the queue was very long. I was very far away.
Your name?
I'm Al-Hassan Afisatu.
Okay. Where did you complete?
I completed Islamic Senior High.
Which year?
That was 2013.
Okay. 2013?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I proceeded to NJ College of Education.
Okay. You are a teacher?
You see?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You haven't completed 10?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You are still in school?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now to the Ashanti region, where applicants are getting disqualified due to their height, foot structure, body alteration and documentation. Lava Films, Erastus Asari Donko observed the Ghana Immigration Service process for enlistment in Kumasi and has put together this report.
Please, I'm begging you.
Yeah, don't worry. Just give us a phone, okay?
No.
Tears roll as some applicants get rejected in their bid to get enlisted into the Ghana Immigration Service.
Stop crying.
One of the major disqualification factors is height.
Very sad.
I couldn't meet the target with regards to the height.
Minimum 1 meter 73 centimeters for males and 1 meter 63 centimeters for females.
When you input your data into the system, you enter your own height, what you have. But they will be checking the height physically on the ground to see whether what you put into the system is the correct one.
Chief Superintendent Alfred Fifi Okran, in charge of intelligence, explains.
Because he wanted a system to pick him, he inputted a height which is not original so that the system can qualify him for him to get entrance. So that is why we are here to do the physical checking. So those who have manipulated the system by inputting wrong information, physically when we check, they will take you out. And the moment we disqualify you, the system close your page automatically. So there's no way you can find a way to come back onto the entrance so that you can still go through the system.
Disqualification also stretches into the realm of other factors like tattoos and body piercings.
The search for your body, tattoo, all those piercing, ear piercing. So if you have one, you are not qualified for that.
I was kind of nervous, but I went through, so it was.
You have a great body. Were they mesmerized by that?
Well, they were actually really tough on us, but we actually went through.
There should be no piercing for males. Yes, that one will automatically disqualify you because it's part of the standard that was set. For females, there should be 1 piercing. If it's more than 1, will be disqualified. With tattoo, visibly will disqualify you, both male and female, because it's part of the standard. Uniform has our own language, and there are basic standards that we set. No tattoos, no double piercing or excessive, no excessive stretch marks, then scars, surgical scars.
Today, the process is moving faster and the numbers are going down. For some, it's the end of the road, but for others, it's a progression to the next stage
If you see people coming through this lane, it means they've been disqualified by height. If you see them coming through this lane, it means they've been disqualified by body selection, and they have what they are looking for. Those who are coming through here on the larger part have sailed through. It is yet to be seen how many will be disqualified and how many will be writing the aptitude test on Saturday. But definitely somebody will be picked. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Studio in Accra. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Let me take you back to the Upper East region. Every year in the last decade, thousands of families in the Upper East region have lost their homes due to annual floods. In some instances, the houses crumbled on some of the families while they slept, resulting in deaths. To help provide shelter for these families, the Ghana Red Cross Society last year built and handed over 102 houses to some of them. This year, the Ghana Red Cross Society plans to launch a Humanitarian Forum to help build 1,000 more houses for the flood disaster victims in the Upper East region. Correspondent Albert Sorry has more.
In the year 2019, thousands of people were rendered homeless after torrential rains and accompanying floods washed away the walls of their houses in some parts of the Upper East region. At least 28 people were reported to have died either through drowning in flood waters or as a result of being crushed by the walls when their homes collapsed. Those affected were people who lived in the rural poor communities where the homes are built mainly from mud or clay. Areas like Chuchuluga in the Busa North District and Mayoro in the Kasna-Nankana municipality were the worst affected. Government agencies like the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, could only support the disaster survivors with food and other relief items, but not in the reconstruction of their homes.
Our mattresses, even our food self, the water took all away. We don't even have something to eat. We don't have a place to stay. So we are appealing the government to come to our aid.
Humanitarian organizations like the Ghana Red Cross Society had to step in to provide tents to temporarily shelter some of the homeless. They also began the construction of more durable homes for them. In the year 2020, the Ghana Red Cross Society, with funding support from the Swiss Red Cross, completed and handed over some houses to families in the Upper East region that were rendered homeless after the 2019 floods. A total of 102 units of 2-bedroom low-cost houses were handed over.
The major aspect of support from this collaboration of the Ghana Red Cross and the Swiss Red Cross involved the purchase of about 35,700 pieces of concrete blocks, then about 816 gallons of bitumen. This was used for the plastering. Then we paid for the services of carpenters and masons, then as well provided for sand, stones, and cement for concrete works on the foundation.
The beneficiaries were from 6 communities, all in the Busa North District and the Kasna-Nankana municipality. The paramount chief of the Mayoro traditional area, Per Dr. Pwakia Atopari Manchi III, was excited about the intervention.
I am of the view that dignity is important. If you have food to eat, you have no place to lay your head. It's still a problem. It's still a dignity question. We're indeed glad and happy that somebody has helped us to solve that dignity question by providing us a place to lay our heads.
This year, the Ghana Red Cross Society has revealed that data they have gathered show that 1,000 more of these houses are needed to help rescue displaced families in the aftermath of flood disasters in the Upper East region. To be able to mobilize the funds for the construction of these homes, the Ghana Red Cross Society is organizing what they call a Humanitarian Forum scheduled for November this year. Kofi Addo is the Secretary General for the Ghana Red Cross Society.
We are talking of houses that have at the foundation level up to about 3-4 courses up Sanskrit. Then we use local soil or local materials to complete it. And these houses, from what we've done over 3, 4, 5 years back, they have been resistant to the following years floods that have come. And so we want to expand it across the country. And to do that is beyond the capacity of Ghana Red Cross alone. And that is why we've come up with this concept of Humanitarian Forum, where all of us will come together, put our heads together, put our resources together, give ourselves a target. Maybe we are going to build 1,000 of such houses for the people. We have the Department of Social Welfare who can help us to identify these people. We have NADMO, we have institutions that can help us to identify these people.
The Upper East Regional Manager of the Ghana Red Cross Society, Paul Woma, will be coordinating the forum.
We are talking of a 2-bed affordable housing unit with a kitchen for them. It's a categorical donation for a categorical intervention. We are estimating that 1,000 houses will be built, because according to the data that we have, and that will cost about 40 million Ghana cedis. I plead with all people, the political class, the business class, contractors, chiefs, assemblymen, whosoever. The program is slated for November this year, 26th November.
Hopefully, the Humanitarian Forum will help address the problem of post-disaster displacement of families in the Upper East region. Reporting for Joy News, Albert Sori, Bolgatanga.
In the studio for this discussion is Paul Woma, who is the Upper East Regional Manager of the Ghana Red Cross Society. I'm grateful that you were able to join us in the studio. First, let's understand the density of the challenge you have in your region, which has motivated you to come up with this kind gesture.
Thank you very much, Asha. The Upper East region is a disaster-prone region. And your studios have covered stories through your regional correspondent, Mr. Albert Sori, about the dire nature of the situation in the Upper East region. Floods are a common phenomenon in the region. And the situation is so dire that year in, year out, people call up at NADMO, at the Ghana Red Cross Society, for an intervention either in food aid or the housing need. And so the society last year, 2 years back, and last year had issues of how to attend to these disaster victims or survivors. Your Joy Multimedia came in with food and non-food support for the people of the Upper East region, and I am grateful to mention it here. NADMO also supported the disaster survivors, but our records still have a number of them who are still calling, even not this year's disaster, but 2-3 years back. We still have statistics of people whose houses fell due to torrential rains and they couldn't build back better. So upon assumption of office, the Secretary General of the Society, Mr. Samuel Kofi Addo, called on me and said, this is a perennial problem. What can you do innovatively to see to the people having their problems resolved? I said, yes, Mr. Secretary General, I will talk to the chairman of the society, Chief Issa Ibrahim, and we'll see how we can put our heads together. And we thought that we have good people from the Upper East region, the political elite from Upper East region, the business class from the Upper East region, and the leadership of our chiefs, our traditional elders, can help put their heads together and call on well-meaning citizens who matter in this country to see how we can put resources together to build back better for these disaster survivors. So in thinking through this, we said we have to organize a humanitarian forum. This forum is dedicated at calling people who really have resources, but they are looking for credible institutions to channel these monies to, so that we can help these real vulnerable people build back better. And so the forum is targeted at calling on citizens, the political class first of all. Our good father, Nanado Dankwa, he might not be listening to this program, but the Flagstaff House people may be listening. We are calling on them. The opposition, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is listening. The MPs from the region, I called up Dr. Clement Apak to lead this organization of the MPs to see how we can put resources together to build back better for the vulnerable. In the interview, I said it was a categorical donation for a categorical intervention. The society has identified 1,000 people who are suffering, really suffering. And as a humanitarian institution with humanitarian values over the years, we think that watching this pass, it is not the best. The society will have to stand in for these vulnerable people by calling on those who matter to throw money into a common bowl, and we come together to see how we can really resolve the issues of this. We are getting intentional and deliberate about this project.
So last year was successful. You were able to build some of the houses and hand it over to the victims. What's the plan for this year?
The plan is to continue. You know, we have a Swiss Red Cross project called the Disaster Risk Reduction Project. They responded in 2019, responded in 2020 in Kologuzo, Kologutor, Mayoro, and Natokonia, all in the Upper East region and in the Kassina Nankana municipality. They cannot continue to do this. We will have to look internally to see who can raise funds internally to support and the Swiss Red Cross to do things better for our people. And
so as you're asking people to come on board, now let's understand the challenges you've had, and let's also talk about the costs involved, so that if people want to support, they will know what we are dealing with.
The challenges involved is that year in, year out, the land is so soluble. So if you address one issue, then the following year there's another issue. The history has it that when we supported through the Swiss Red Cross and Ghana Red Cross Society, those houses are standing solid. But the solubility of the sand is not only in Kassina Nankana municipality, it's across the region. And so the fundamental issue is not removed. The solubility of the land, people's houses still fall when there are torrential rains. And the cost involved in raising up a house just for the vulnerable people, I'm not talking about Sister Aisha's kind of house, but I'm talking about a house just for a vulnerable person to lay a head. Just 2 rooms, 3 rooms, and cemented, just for a mat to spread on and sleep. Not terrazzo, not anything. This is simple. And the cost, the estimated cost for the houses that we talked about, will estimated cost 40 million Ghana cedis can do for the 1,000 houses that we are intending to build back better. And we are doing this in solid collaboration with NADMO, the disaster management organization in the region, Department of Social Welfare, and the district organizers, who are the cream of the communities, are organizing data with NADMO to do this intervention.
Right. So now that you've called on the presidency, MPs, and other well-meaning Ghanaians to support this important project, let's also look at exactly what support you're looking for. Is it funds? Is it building materials? And what exactly do you need for people to support you with?
Yes, the support is in kind and in cash. If we have money, we would buy the materials. But if GASAM is listening and wants to donate cement to that cause, we will readily accept it. If the timber marketing companies are listening and they want to donate wood, we will readily accept it. But the forum will intend raising funds, both in cash and even in kind. In kind means there could be wood, solid material, cement, zinc. You can donate 100 packets.
Okay.
And we would be glad to receive it.
All right. So we'll be. Let me wish you well for this important gesture. Yeah. But you've also, like you said, you've calculated, or you know the amount of the number of people who are affected, right?
Yes.
And you know how many of them who need houses.
Support, yes.
Is it only houses that the people need, or there are other things that people need, or all of them, they need one thing?
Yes. You know, I said it was a categorical donation for a categorical intervention.
Okay.
This one, they may need other things, but we think that housing is the critical need. Important. If we remove that one, if you have other resources, you can attend to the needs. If it is food that you need, when we remove the housing aspect, you would attend to your food needs.
Okay.
But we will not be asking too much. We're asking on one single thing. We need funds to build back better for a disaster survivor.
Okay, hopefully viewers, people who are listening and watching would come to your aid and donate for this good cause. Yes. Let me wish you well and hope that you would provide housing for these people you're talking about. Paul Woma is Upper East Regional Manager of the Red Cross Society, and he's making an appeal for well-meaning Ghanaians to support this good cause, to put up housing structures for victims of floods in the Upper East region. Okay, so we'll have to end this interview. If you want to say something, just briefly for me, so I can.
So thank you very much for having me in the studios. Joy, you have been so proactive in supporting the society. During the COVID, I was used for an advert, and I see myself here. I'm grateful. Star Ghana. Star Ghana people are interested in this whole project, and I want to thank them. The Northern Development Authority is interested in this, and they are discussed with the chief executive, and he is happy. A lot of people, World Vision Ghana, and those that I approached, they are so happy about it. I want, looking forward, your good more people
to support you.
The 26th of November is the tentative date for the program. And as I knock at your door, I know that by the grace of God, this program, targeted for solving vulnerable people's problem, God's hand will be on it, so that we'll do things for it.
Paul Woma, thank you so much for your time. Still to come on the polls. On Monday, the Electoral Commission took on the NDC leadership, accusing them, especially John Mahama, of attempts to denigrate its reputation by falsely alleging voter fraud during the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. When I return from this break, we'll be having a conversation with the General Secretary of the NDC. We'll be interrogating this matter further and also talk about a wide range of issues affecting the party. Do stay tuned in.
This is untrue. This is a grave matter that undermines the credibility of our electoral process and should not be ignored. We call on him to provide evidence to support this claim. This is not a matter that should be ignored, and we call on the Ghana Police Service to investigate.
The Pulse. Remember, you can join the conversation via all our social media handles at JoyNews on TV. You can also tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Danana Aisha. Now, on Monday, the Electoral Commission took on the NDC leadership, accusing them, especially John Mahama, of attempts to denigrate its reputation by falsely alleging voter fraud during the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. Mr. Mahama, among other things, alleges that the EC stuffed ballot papers into boxes to aid a rigging plot. The commission yesterday, on Monday, did not take it kindly to those allegations and demanded a police investigation into the matter.
The first issue the Electoral Commission responded to was the issue about the EC printing about 1 million ballot papers in favor of the governing NPP.
We are of the view that our silence on this false allegation could have dire consequences as it could undermine citizens' confidence in our dear country. The former president has said the EC printed 1 million ballots papers in favor of the President of the Republic. This is untrue. This is a grave matter that undermines the credibility of our electoral process and should not be ignored. We call on him to provide evidence to support this claim. This is not a matter that should be ignored, and we call on the Ghana Police Service to investigate. The transparency of our process makes it totally impossible for this to happen. At the polling stations prior to the start of the elections, the empty ballot boxes are opened and displayed in the presence of everyone, including the political party agents, and thereafter they are sealed in the presence of everyone. There are serial numbers on the ballot papers for each region and constituency. This is made known to the agents before the elections, and the political parties also know this. Our ballot papers also have security features, so any trace of new material will be clearly visible. Again, at the end of the poll, the ballots cast are cross-checked against the voters who were verified and issued the ballot papers. This ensures that overvoting is detected immediately, because if at the center 20 people were issued the ballots, we expect that the ballot box will contain 20. Nationwide, we had no issue with overvoting at all the 38,622 polling stations, except in Savelugu in the parliamentary election, where there was one, and I repeat, one overvoting. The transparency of our processes from the beginning to the end makes this impossible. Ballot staffing cannot be done. It is just impossible.
Also raised concerns about the allegation that the declaration of the results was influenced by the military. Again, the answer from the EC is false. During the polls, a number of violence were recorded. It can particular mention as the Techiman South electoral violence, and also even in the Dodio. Well, particular mention was given to Techiman South electoral violence. The Electoral Commission says it cannot be blamed for the violence that characterized the elections at the collation center within the area.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, once more, the former president has accused the EC of being responsible for the violence that took place at Techiman. We state for the records that the violence was not caused as a result of the EC or its staff. More importantly, the EC is not responsible for security as the former president sought to portray. Nowhere in our laws or in the Constitution, security one of the functions of the EC. To lay security lapses at the doorstep of the EC is unfortunate. While we sympathize with the family members of the deceased, we reject any attempt to associate violence with us. Again, we call on the former president in the interest of our democracy to provide evidence that the EC orchestrated the violence.
Finally, the Electoral Commission says it does not account to presidential candidates, and what they do is to account to Ghanaians through their representatives in Parliament. And so it is never true that the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, that is Madam Jean Mensah, is running away from accountability.
We have on several occasions heard the former president state that the chairperson has been running away from accountability. This is false. The EC is an institution. As such, for the former president to equate the entire institution to the chairperson is an attempt to malign her and cause disaffection for her. As an institution, we account to the good people of Ghana through the Special Budget Committee of Parliament, and we have done so, and we report regularly. We do not account to individuals. We do not account to presidential candidates. The Constitution does not permit that. Furthermore, the Supreme Court is not the platform from the EC. It's not the platform for the EC to account to the people of Ghana. As far as elections are concerned, the Supreme Court is a court for settling presidential election disputes.
Well, the NDC actually wants that to happen. They want the police to investigate the matter. This afternoon, we'll seek answers on what the NDC seeks to do with these claims and its concerns regarding the election of 2020. Will they welcome calls for investigation into the claims the leader made whilst on the thank you tour? In the studio with me is General Secretary of the NDC, General Asiedun Nketia. I'm grateful that you were able to make it.
Thank you very much.
Now, first of all, I want us to, let me ask you, has the police invited you yet?
In fact, we rather want the police to invite the Electoral Commission and the management of InnoLink printing press to conduct criminal investigations into their conduct during the printing of ballot papers for the 2020 elections.
Okay.
We were hesitant to report the matter to the police because, InnoLink is a fledgling business, one of the few security printers we have. And I want to believe that they take printing contracts from elsewhere in the sub-region because Ghana is known for security printing. So matters like this, if they escalate, can affect the business interests of InnoLink. But we thought that administrative measures will be taken to address the issue. So far, no such administrative measure has been taken, and InnoLink has allowed the Electoral Commission to use this as an opportunity to malign us, our refusal or failure to escalate the matter to be a weakness on our part. We think that we'll change our decision and ensure that the police are brought in to actually find out who was culpable, because the issues are not controvertible at all.
Okay.
The fact that InnoLink printed more than 1 million ballot papers after the process has concluded and all material had been evacuated from their premises, all excess material had been destroyed with a certificate of destruction issued. And for them to proceed to print further materials, which we discovered just by accident, and for which reason Electoral Commission had to issue a second certificate of destruction. We think that it is a very grievous criminal offense. And Electoral Commission is complicit in what happened, because the statement they issued last night seemed to suggest that they actively want to stage a cover-up. In fact, the certificate of destruction which was issued, which was shown by Electoral Commission, was actually the second certificate of destruction when they were caught red-handed. And they tried to justify the further printing, which justification could not fly. They had to eat humble pie to allow us to go and destroy the extra material that was printed. The fact that they were printing after a certificate of destruction had been issued on the 20th, and all the materials had been dispatched to the regions. And then we come to catch you pants down, having printed more than 1 million extra ballot papers after the impression has been created that all the documents have been cleared. It's clearly a criminal offense.
Why didn't you raise that at the Supreme Court? Because the Electoral Commission accuses you of not being able to provide those evidence.
The issues we sent to Supreme Court did not involve printing of ballot papers.
But if they were part of the mishaps that happened during the elections, why are you not concerned?
You didn't need that printing to prove any case there. It's a criminal offense on its own that could have been handled.
And you decided,
for instance, when we went to the Supreme Court, we did not carry along issues about voter registration and so on. The fact that 2 registers were used during the election, because when the filing of nominations was taking place, the final register, the new register had not been finalized. So technically, the nominations were filed based on the old register. And then you come to hold elections based on the new register. That in itself was problematic. And it runs counter to the same ECOWAS protocols that President Akufo-Addo had been flaunting all over in Guinea and other places. You know, President Akufo-Addo had been calling on the Guinean military leader to hand over because of ECOWAS protocol. The same ECOWAS protocol says that you cannot even change any electoral law within 6 months to the elections. But 3 months to the election, you were still changing electoral laws. So those things were not part. Those things were not part of the case we sent to court. But now that they are even challenging the obvious, that is why I'm saying that we are going to carry it out as a very serious matter.
But if you had all these evidence and you caught them red-handed that they've printed all these, why didn't you report the matter to the police now?
I thought I had explained this earlier on. I told you that you know, InnoLink's business, we thought that we could protect his business and so on. But now that no such, because they could have taken administrative action. For instance, if it is not a company policy to engage in that fraud, they could have descended on the staff who were involved, sacked them, or Electoral Commission by itself could have dropped InnoLink from their list of printers. Then we know that they are not complicit in what happened. None of this has happened. And then the Electoral Commission will have the effrontery to now come out to deny an activity we caught them red-handed on. So that is what is prompting us now.
You didn't want the staff to suffer for all of this.
No, we are not talking about the staff. We are saying that I'm saying that the staff could have been dealt with by InnoLink to protect their international image. They haven't done that. Electoral Commission could have delisted InnoLink as one of their main contractors. They haven't done that.
So if
and then they now get up. Electoral Commission itself now gets up to deny the fact that this activity happened. It now opens the door for us to press criminal charges against InnoLink and whoever they are collaborators.
My point is that if InnoLink did not see it as important to actually come out to clear its name, why are you considering their business and not reporting a criminal matter?
My sister, there is no expiry date for crime. We are going to pursue this matter.
But sometimes they say a child, so
I'm saying that there is no 10 months after elections. There is no expiry date for crime. None of the criminal activities that took place during the election has been prosecuted as we sit here now. Even government has not prosecuted anybody. So there is no expiry date for crime. So the management of InnoLink should take it from us that there's a big trouble ahead of them. Because, you see, yesterday, Electoral Commission sought to whitewash that criminal activity by craftily displaying the certificate of distraction dated 25th. The printing ended before 20th. And the certificate of distraction, I think the printing ended around 19th. And the certificate of distraction was issued on the 20th. I have those two certificates here. And InnoLink, as far as I could remember, is the only company at whose premises two certificates had been issued. Why? Because the first one was issued and we were lied to that all the material had been destroyed. The molds for printing have all been destroyed in our presence and we all signed to it. For us to go and see that you are involved in extra printing. After all those ballot papers have been dispatched to the various regions and constituencies, and then you discover that InnoLink had printed more than 1 million ballot papers for presidential alone, designed for Ashanti region alone.
So when do you...
So it tells you that this is a well orchestrated and well rehearsed plan of criminal conduct.
When do you intend,
so we'll pursue it.
When do you intend to go to the police to lodge a
We'll
complaint?
be addressing a press conference sometime tomorrow, and
Okay.
then we'll proceed. So the facts are not in controversy at all.
So you have the evidence?
Yes, I can show you the two certificates.
I think that will be for the police to deal with.
No, you can show it.
This matter.
Because yesterday, they showed the certificate of distraction, one.
Okay.
And you need to show the two and ask them why did they issue two certificates of distraction. It's very, very important.
Okay. So I think this is something that the police is very interested
the image
to interrogate.
of Joy FM has been brought into disrepute because the second distraction was witnessed by Joy.
How?
And in fact, if you look at the Electoral Commission statement, they are impugning the integrity of the Joy FM reporters and calling on Joy FM to bring your reporters to book.
Yes,
it is in their statement.
The statement they issued yesterday.
Yes,
we'll deal with that one. But there are other issues that they refuted, including the fact that the former president Mahama talked about the EC, blaming the EC for military, what happened at Techiman. But you can't blame the EC for military, any mishap with security.
Who else?
Because you could see that the EC officials were doing their job, and your people, your officers there didn't had issues. If they had issues, there were processes. I mean, in the end, there were shooting and people died and ballot boxes flying over and here and there. So it's security problem, not EC problem.
Where do you draw the line? Before we go on, you see, this is the certificate. The first certificate of disposal.
Yes.
And this is our copy.
Okay.
You see that it is a duplicate.
Okay.
This is our copy. And it's dated 20th of November 2020. This was where the printing had been closed.
Okay.
And we were made to sign this one with the belief that all the, spoiled material and whatever, including the molds, were going to be destroyed, and in fact they were destroyed in our presence. Then we go and apprehend you printing another set, and then you now accepted to go and destroy the one we caught you printing.
And this is dated
and this
when?
is 25th of November.
Okay, 5 days.
5 clear days after we had closed and you were still printing.
Okay, but
so Electoral Commission craftily was brandishing this certificate that this is the certificate of distraction.
Do you agree that if you had brought in the police at the moment, at that time that this happened, maybe the EC wouldn't be holding this press conference?
When you have so many issues to deal with, you choose which one is of priority and deal with that one first.
All right.
And as I have indicated to you, there is no expiry date for crime. So far, the delay has even given us opportunity to now believe that InnoLink itself is not prepared to take any action against the staff who were involved, meaning that this is endorsed by the company.
Okay.
We also believe that Electoral Commission has also endorsed what happened because so far they have not delisted InnoLink from their list of printers. So it now gives us space to proceed.
Okay.
But let's come to
the
issue you raised about security and all that. Have you tried to find out who is in charge of security at the polling station? It is the presiding officer of the Electoral Commission who is in charge of security during election day at the polling station. Why? If the Electoral Commission is not in charge of security, why should their presiding officer be the boss of security at the polling station? And in fact, if the presiding officer directs that even a party agent should be removed from the place, the police takes instruction from the presiding officer.
Okay.
So issues about security cannot be delinked from Electoral Commission.
But
when you come to returning officer, at the collation center, the returning officer can give instructions that this person should be evacuated from here, that person should be evacuated from here.
Okay.
That is Electoral Commission function.
Okay.
But above all, why was the shooting not happening in Techman Market, for instance? Huh?
Okay.
If you are trying to cheat somebody by not going by the rules.
Okay. So,
and at that
so
moment,
that's what I wanted to find. Are there procedures?
Yes, there are procedures, but Electoral Commission began flouting those procedures, and they are in charge of the security there. So there is nothing you can do apart from protesting to draw attention to the whole nation that something wrong was happening. And then they use the police to shoot at the protesters. So how can Electoral Commission now come out to say that they are not culpable? Did you watch the video when I led a team to talk to the presiding officer for Techiman staff?
Yes, I did.
To demand our copy of the collation sheets. Botsman, when he was talking, was he not referring to their rules? Do their rules not provide that a party to the elections is entitled to a copy of the collation sheets? Now, so the issue is not about lack of rules. So to hold a press conference and be repeating your rules, you are not proving anything. Everybody wants to abide by the rules. The problem is happening because your own staff do not want to play by the rules of the game. So if you go out preaching the rules, you are not communicating. Tell us how come that your staff did not allow the rules of the game to be followed.
The matter is in court, right?
Which matter?
The Techiman issue.
The criminality is nowhere in any court.
Okay.
So we can discuss the criminality.
Okay.
So, and let me tell you also,
but I just wanted an update on what has transpired in court. Yes, it is in court.
It is in court. In fact, trial is going to begin on 16th of November.
Okay.
Trial is going to begin on 16th. And we keep on saying that the Techiman court case is a needless exercise. This is something, if Electoral Commission was sufficiently neutral, they could have declared the results because the data is there, everything is there by your own listen. So what Bossman was repeating, he's not communicating to anybody. If you have the rules and you don't go by the rules, and people want to press you to go by the rules and you use the police to kill those people, you cannot come out to say that because of the existence of the rules, nobody can cheat. So the problem is not about the absence of the rules. The problem is about Electoral Commission's non-preparedness to play by the rules.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. With this printing, it is not just about ballot papers. The collation, the pink sheets are supposed to be an account, a primary document that's supposed to take care of whatever happens at the polling station. So the number of ballot papers issued, number of ballot papers received and those issued to voters, the number of people verified and all that are all put there.
Okay.
There's a section we call ballot accounting. That is where there's an indication of number of persons who are verified biometrically. And now number of persons who voted by were not verified biometrically, they were verified by manual verification. Their own law provides a sample of the pink sheets. Do you know that they went about printing new documents which were not related to their law at all? So the document they used for the conduct of the elections, the pink sheet, was different from the pink sheet that was provided for in the law.
Really?
Yes. And this was discovered about 5 days before the election. Okay. And they were pleading that we should allow them to use the wrong document. We said no. They should go back, even if it meant postponement of the election. They should go back and print the right document because that is the law.
Okay.
So again, this is a case where the commission itself was flouting its own laws. So how can you be citing your law as a defense.
Okay.
So they proceeded and said that they will manufacture stamps, which will be sent to the polling stations. They will stamp a column so you can write normal verified biometrically and normal verified manually.
Okay.
It never happened in 50% of the polling stations countrywide.
And you didn't raise issue?
There was no issue. There was no time to even educate your party agents who had already been trained 4 or 5 days to the elections. So in the whole process, all the money we spent procuring new equipment, which they claim involve facial recognition and biometric verification and all that, it was a total waste. Because there was no record. There was no record of the number of persons verified. And I'm surprised that somebody like Dr. Bosman, who addressed a press conference claiming that 90%, 98% were verified. Where did he get the figures from? When the figures that has to be generated at the polling station were non-existent. Where did he get those things?
You don't seem to see anything good about this
I'm speaking about the facts.
Okay.
He said we should produce evidence. Okay. They should go and produce. We have the pink sheet. And 50% of the polling stations, there was no record of persons verified at all to vote. And that is a major flaw.
I'm surprised that this didn't come up.
We are saying that, look, the person who should mount the ballot, the dock, so that he's confronted with this, the court says they won't allow him to mount it. Why are you going to raise them? So that is the issue that we're talking about. You see, come and take this thing. Bosman was making another point that overvoting happened in only one polling station. It's a palpable lie, because overvoting was widespread, and that type of overvoting was carefully planned and implemented by Electoral Commission in cahoot with MPP. And you know what happened?
Okay.
They printed, it happened during the printing, the same printing of ballot papers. When ballot papers were printed, and they were printed and then stapled into booklets.
Yes.
We counted some of them, and you will find out that in a lot of cases, some of the sheets, even though it's written that 100 ballot papers in a booklet, 50 ballot papers in a booklet. When you do actual counting, there may be 51, 52. When you do actual counting, there may be 100 or 101. So
when the booklets, yes, did you raise alarm?
Yes, we did a complete press conference. That the way they have compiled these booklets, it is going to bring big problem of overvoting.
The Electoral Commission says their ballot papers have what?
Yes, and I'm coming to that. I'm coming to tell you that. Bosman doesn't know about elections. I'm surprised that he doesn't know about elections. You see, so what happens is that when you are at a polling station and they give you 5 booklets of 100, it means that you have been given 100 booklets, and you have been given 500 ballots. Okay. So you begin issuing out. One person comes, you issue. Another person, you issue.
And each of them have index numbers.
Yes. So you issue, or maybe you issue about 3 of the hundreds. So when you are doing ballot accounting, you assume that because the first ballot paper in every book begins with 1, then the last one ends with 100. So you say that, oh, the booklet contains 100. Then you put it there. So when you take custody of 5 booklets, you know you have 500 ballot papers. But after issuing some out, when you open the box and you count those in the ballot box, and then you add the remaining ones that have not been issued, you see that they are more than the total you received by maybe 1 or 2. The reason is that some of the ballot papers have been stapled there in duplicates. So you could count. So when there is any such confusion, count the counterfoils of the ballot booklet, and you discover it. It happened in Senate West. The ballot box that was in dispute, which we all proceeded to count. I stood for NDC as an agent. Damboche stood for MPP as the agent.
Okay.
When we counted the ballots in the box and then added to the remaining one, they were more than the ballots received by one. So MPP started raising, overvoting. It must be cancelled. And I said, look, you have gotten away with so many of these in our stronghold. This one is not on. I'm going to prove to the whole nation the fraud you perpetrated. So I insisted that we counted the counterfoils. When we counted the counterfoils, a particular ballot paper had been repeated with the same serial number. Two of them.
Okay.
So the booklet actually contained 101 instead of 100. Because of this, many of our polling station results had been cancelled needlessly, delivering the victory to parliamentary elections to MPP. When you go to Pusiga, the MPP is in court now, claiming that in 5 polling stations, there's overvoting by 1, there's overvoting by 2, there's overvoting by this. I bet my last Peswa, if you go and count the counterfoils, you see that it is one of the areas that they intentionally added a duplicate ballot paper with the same numbers and so on, and when you count that, there is no problem. But they are insisting that because of that, some results in some election areas should be cancelled, giving victory to them. So all these things were carefully planned and executed by Electoral Commission. So they cannot come and...
But of course, your former President Mahama says that is the worst election that ever happened.
Yes.
Monitors who took the pain, people, observers who monitored the election, the CODEO, CDD, EU observers, all of them said, yes, they agree there were some challenges, but, to the larger extent, the election there was improvement on the 2016 elections.
The court itself has ruled that election is a process.
Okay.
Election is not all about what happens on the December 7th, the election day. You can rig the elections far ahead of the eletion day.
Okay, but these are independent bodies who also monitor the elections.
You can only comment on what you can only comment on what you have monitored. You can only comment on what you have monitored.
Okay.
How many of the observers were in the printing room for the ballot papers that we are talking about? How many of them? Nobody. You understand? So they can just come and monitor a session or a segment of the elections. You understand? Tell me, where in the world do you have filing of nominations taking place when the final voters register has not been completed? And then you file nominations based on some old register, and then you conduct the elections on a totally different register. That tells you about the quality of the elections. Those are the benchmarks. Now, go and look before election takes place. There must be an election roll, which is one of the most critical aspects. And when we talk about election roll, it is the voters register. So if you have the election roll wrong, then you cannot have a credible election.
Okay.
And we have raised issues about the compilation of the voters register. And the Supreme Court was forced to, in defense of Electoral Commission, to issue very absurd rulings like citizens' birth certificate is not an attestation for citizenship. But when you convert the birth certificate into a passport, the passport then becomes an identity document. Very absurd. Now, and because they were working towards protecting Electoral Commission's actions, and so they worked themselves into that absurdity. So you come to, the demarcation of electoral zones. That is the one of the most important functions of Electoral Commission. When you look at Article 45 of our Constitution, the first function of the Electoral Commission is to compile the voters' register, capture everybody who is 18 years and above in the voters' list. We have told you about their shortcomings in that area. The next one is to demarcate the country into constituencies. They failed there too woefully. Worse than any Electoral Commission that has ever happened in this country. Because for the first time in the history of Ghana, you have elections happening where a whole area of the country did not participate. And so therefore, they are not represented at all in the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, yet they are citizens. How can they be taxation without representation? Are they, the people of SAL, are they still paying taxes? Somebody should tell me. So if Electoral Commission failed in this second aspect too, how can they be jumping over rooftops claiming that this is the best election? And I said that, look, but for the fact that they had impugned the integrity of President Mahama, I wouldn't bother to continue this debate at all, because I take the view that it is wrong for a leopard to be arguing with a donkey.
Really?
You understand? So I had stopped. And it's trite knowledge that don't argue with the fool. People will not know the difference. So I had taken the thing that there are certain people, all they want to have in an argument is that you have won, and not the fact that has prevailed. So if you have people like that baiting you into argument, you leave them to steam in their own problems.
But don't you think you have also aided in this argument? Like I said from the beginning, you've seen people committing criminality and you are quiet over it.
We have gone to court, Supreme Court. How many times didn't we go to Supreme Court? The Supreme Court, we have come to the conclusion that the Supreme Court is not prepared to protect our democracy.
How?
That is the truth.
Because they explained to you why
they are not prepared to protect the integrity of our Constitution. Because, listen, the Constitution itself tells you that when there is a by-election, for instance, occasioned by death of a candidate, the by-election must be held within 60 days. Black and white in the Constitution. If it is occasioned by resignation, it must be held within 30 days. Ayawaso West Wogon by-election happened. Electoral Commission proceeded to fix a date 72 days after the occurrence of the vacancy. We took the matter to Supreme Court. What did the court say? Complete violation of the Constitution. What did the court say? And so you follow
but you have
through this. So you see,
appeal.
The problem of our democracy is not about a bad Electoral Commission. Because a bad electoral, you can live with a bad Electoral Commission when the courts are upright. But when you have courts that are ailing, it is worse than Electoral Commission. It is more harmful to our democracy than a wrong Electoral Commission.
But the courts give
because
you
if there is a problem
in their judgment, they give you reasons why they give those judgments.
I'm saying that, why? Are you saying that a criminal does not have reasons for killing?
But, I mean...
They always have reasons for killing. So please, whether those reasons make sense is another matter. It's not the fact that they gave reasons. Whether those reasons make sense is another matter. So, my sister, in all this, you can only conclude, based on the face of the evidence, that this has been the worst elections ever.
With the cost of elections, the Electoral Commission has been responding to, and it says that it has actually saved this nation.
Who has audited their account?
Compared to
you see,
the previous elections.
That is the most laughable aspects of their press conference completely. You have gone to undertake an activity. Nobody has audited you. Your figures are not available to anybody. Then you cook your own figures and come and stand on television bragging. Where is the auditor's report about Electoral Commission's work?
Maybe you should tell us.
It hasn't happened. They are bragging that they are accountable to a committee in Parliament. Who told them that it is the committee they are accountable to? Who told them? And when have they rendered that account to the committee? They are getting everything wrong. And I have my doubts whether Bosman actually taught university students.
You still think that...
Because he doesn't understand what accountability
You still think
means.
that the Electoral Commission spent more money than previous
The
elections?
debate is not there at all.
Okay.
Let me tell you what. You can spend just 1 million cedis on the elections in Ghana. Do you know what you will do? You just print pink sheets, hire people to fill them in, and then proceed to announce results. That will be the cheapest elections. But is that the qualitative election? So when you are talking about the quality of elections, you cannot justify the quality of elections by the amount you spend on the election. They are two different things. When you come to talk about the cost of election, it's a completely different ball game. You don't mix the two together. You are being accused that you allowed the wrong person to be named as having the mandate of the people by subverting the people's mandate. You are talking about the fact that we have reduced costs, which costs nobody had testified.
So tomorrow,
has the electoral, has the what do you call it? The account auditor general. Have they audited their accounts?
All right. So
nobody has audited their accounts. So why are you brandishing, sole sourcing, accounting figures which are not known even at IPAC? When you are asked how much did you spend on ABC, you say we are not accounting.
But you can demand for that document.
Are they telling us? Are they telling us if they are properly wearing their thinking caps? I don't see any professor who will stand on television to say that they are only accountable to a small committee in parliament and nobody else in Ghana. And then you are saying that people who participated in an election, you supervise. If they are asking questions about your judgment, then you say that I cannot explain anything to you. I will go and explain to a third party who did not participate in the election.
You can actually request for that document so that you can do the comparison.
What document?
Because
there is no document.
On the costs, they have the receipts and everything that they spent.
If you compile your accounts, why is it that when the company compiles account, you wait for auditors before you determine the tax liability of that company?
All right.
Because the person is preparing the accounts. He will put the information he wants there. You understand? Yeah. So that cannot be an authentic document. Okay. We deal with audited accounts. Okay. Political parties file audited accounts with the Electoral Commission. We don't just go to IPAC to say that we spend so much on campaigning, we spend this, so Electoral Commission is expected to take that. So, that is not official document.
So tomorrow there's a press conference you're going to be holding. Are you going to the police straight after the press conference, or you are going to the police station before the press conference?
I am saying that this criminal matter will be dealt with.
Okay, how?
Or we will report to the police. So if Electoral Commission, having committed or connived with the printing house to do this, they turn around to say that they are reporting somebody to the police, we will tell them we know the police.
So you have the evidence, right?
I have shown you the two.
All right.
I have shown you the two certificates.
So you show the.
Ask Bosman to come and display the first certificate, evidencing the conclusion of the printing and the destruction of extra ballot papers. How come that after that there was printing, which has occasioned this issue of the second certificate? Tell them. Come and talk about, Koforidua. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
You know, Koforidua, there was an issue about the regional collation. They did 2 different collation sheets. When they were responding in writing to us in court, they sought to justify the 2 sheets by saying that the first one, which was signed by political parties, it was later found to be wrong because it did not include the results of some polling, some constituencies, right? And so when they found it and corrected it, and they called our agents to come and sign, our agents refused to sign. If that story is to be believed, then which of the 2 documents must come first? Is it not the wrong one that must come first, so that the corrected one will come second. Go and look at the time those documents came to the National Collation Center. The first one that came was the one they are describing as corrected. It came 9 a.m. on the 8th of January. Okay. The corrected one. And the original one they claim was wrong came at 6 p.m. on the 8th. So which is going to correct which? It tells you that Electoral Commission had pre-programmed certain results with which they were doing their declarations, and they were just finding evidence to support what they had already pre-programmed to declare. So we insist that this election was the worst that ever happened. And posterity will not forgive a Supreme Court for the role they played in covering up for this fraudulent activity.
I'm grateful for your time. Asiedun Ketia is the General Secretary of the NDC, and he says tomorrow there'll be a press conference to address this, and he says they're going all out to bring in the police to investigate this. Now, plant breeding professor at the University of Ghana, Eric Dankwa, is challenging African governments to increase investments in science, technology, and innovation as a sure way to boost food security on the continent. He says without substantial investments in science, the continent will continue to struggle to feed itself. Professor Dankwa, who is also founding director of the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement at the University of Ghana, has been speaking at the annual conference of the African Plant Breeders Association in Rwanda. Welcome back to The Pulse, and we're live from our studios in Kokomlimle. You can also join the conversation via all our social media platforms at JoyNews on TV. You can tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is Adhanana Aisha. Now let's explore the issue of the plant breeders further. And with me is Dr. Agnes Kalibata. She's a president of the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, and a former minister for Agric in Rwanda. She joins us live on Zoom. First of all, Doc, what do you make of the call by Professor Dankwa on African governments to increase investments in science and technology as a key way to ensure food security in Africa? To get her audio right for this conversation on day one of the NSMQ preliminary, St. Thomas Aquinas, Chemo, SAH, SHS and Odogono Senior High School have all booked a place at the 1/8 stage of the main National Science and Maths Quiz competition, which started Tuesday. Current and old students of St. Thomas Aquinas SHS say the dream to win a second trophy is on course. The cantonment-based institution is only day school that has ever won an NSMQ trophy. Maxwell Agbagba has more in the following report.
Odogono Senior High School has qualified to the 1/8 stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz. We say congratulations to them. Let's find out from them what a... Great Osa! Great Osa!
I'm the regional STEM coordinator for Greater Accra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're celebrating with them.
I'm celebrating with them because they are the schools that have been able to win the 2 awards.
Okay.
The Gold Bonanza and that of the Prudential.
Okay.
And their performance was so outstanding. Yeah. We are going to tell them that no retreat, no surrender. We are not surrendering, we are not retreating, we are going for the cup, and that is all.
Okay, so you're going for the cup in Kumasi and I'm bringing it here to Accra.
You know what? The cup is supposed to remain in Greater Accra for the next 6 years. Let me explain.
Okay.
Presec have won.
Yeah.
So we wish they will win.
Okay.
But Odogono is going to win.
Yeah.
Chemu will win, West will win, Akraka will win, and then Achimata will win, Akwena. So we have 7 years, so they should wait. When the 7 years is over, they come for
This is prophetic. This is prophetic. Thanks so much.
Yes. I'm currently they are in my year group. So I'm their senior prefect, and these are boys that I saw them personally sacrificing a lot to get this far. Their sacrifices were not in vain. Sometimes they will be learning in the evening, no food, nothing, in the mosquitoes, and things, preferential treatment that you think that should be given to these people. They stood through the test of time. At times at 12, they will call, Miss Makida, we are praying with a squirrel. What should we do? And these are people that you could see that they are determined.
You know my happiness. For about 8 years, I've been to Odogono. Anytime, any day we come, this stage, we don't qualify. Always we play second. But today, 2021, I think that pot is broken. Besides moving forward. We are moving forward. Yes. We are taking the cup away. We are taking the cup away. Ladies and gentlemen, with humility and steadfastness, we join the footsteps of a patron Saint Aquinas. Saint Aquinas.
St. Thomas Aquinas SHS has qualified to the 1/8 stage of the competition in Kumasi. Excited. They are excited right now. The old Toms are also here. We'll be speaking to them shortly to find out from them what it means to them. The 1/8 stage. They won their first NSMQ in the year 2013. They are hoping to win it for the second time in 2021.
We should expect an upgraded version of us.
Upgraded version.
Expect
Aquinas Pro Mass.
Yes.
We are going to work on our flaws and come back bigger and better in the next subsequent contest.
Okay.
So hope for the best. Hope for the best.
Okay. So we've definitely seen you in Comerica. We've seen you in Kumasi. What are you telling the guys up there in Kumasi?
They should just watch out for Aquinas because you are bringing the best this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have some old Toms also in here. Old Tom, which year?
2014.
So the 2000-year group set up a committee, an NSMQ committee, to ensure that you win the trophy this year. Do you think that is happening?
Oh, very much. It's happening live in Khalid.
Live in Khalid?
Yes.
What makes you so confident? The last time you won was in 2013.
Yes. Okay, from 2013 and 2017, 2013 was good, 2017 was good, but 18, 19, 20 has been very bad. But this time around, we are fully prepared.
Form 1 student here? Any Form 1? Fresher? Patrick, come.
It means a lot because being in St. Thomas Aquinas School is like a pride.
Okay.
And we know when we go there, we'll do well. So be expecting us.
And sponsored by the Ghana Education Service. The broadcast is by JoyNews and is supported by Cowbell, Papa's Pizza, Ace Medical Insurance, Dole Yogurt, DBS Roofing Sheets, and Tampico. We'll take a break on the pulse. We'll bring you the very latest from the world of sports.
Hello there, Hans Mensado here with Sports on the Pulse. And this afternoon we are talking about Asamoah Gyan because he's reiterated his dream to play for his childhood club, that's Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The former Ghana captain came close to joining the Porcupine Warriors last season, but opted at the last minute for a move to fellow Ghana Premier League side Legon Cities. With the Royals failing to renew the contract of the 35-year-old, he's now free to join any club and he's once again stated that he would love to play for Kumasi Asante Kotoko before hanging up his boots. And he made a statement among other statements that he made. And I'll be taking a look at some of the quotes in respect of that particular interview that Asamoah Gyan granted. Pretty interesting how, he still harbors that dream of playing for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. You see the quotes on your screen pretty shortly. But joining me in the studio is my colleague Oreku Ampofo. Oreku, I'll be coming to you in a bit, but you see that on your screen. Jan says that by God's grace, I'll be back to action in January 2022. I just want to enjoy football because I can't play football forever. Now I have some strength, so I want to return to playing. He also said that if it is Kotoko or any other club, it will be fine. But the most important thing is for me to be fit and ready again to play. Goes on to say, right now I'm not active because of injuries. All these years, injuries have broken me down a bit. So I give myself time off to check my body. Concludes by saying, anything is possible. Asante Kotoko is my childhood club and I support them. I want to wear the jersey of Kotoko, even if it's for one day, I'll be okay. I'll be glad, but I have to look at the body and my health first. So those were, I beg your pardon, some of the quotes from Asamoah Gyan as he declares that he would want to represent Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Oreku joins me in the studio. And Oreku, I mean, you did post this, quotes on social media, and I retweeted with a question of my own. It all lies in what he did last season. Of course, he's mentioned that he's been hampered by injuries over the years, but has he still got it in him to crack Ghana Premier League football?
Well, I think that was the similar question we had when he joined Legon Cities. There were questions as to whether he had fitness, he had the fitness level to be able to compete in the Ghana Premier League. But I think we have a graphic of his statistics from last season in Legon Cities, and that should be on your screens in just about a bit. But it wasn't impressive, fair to say. And it was more about availability, not even performance. And it was a bit disappointing considering how much the club invested in him. Right. And although you could tell the majority of that money was to be able to gain more prominence and get more marketing value, I think they could have got way more, especially if he played more and maybe performed better. And so you look at the numbers, and he played just 7 games across the whole season, never really played 90 minutes. The only time that he started, he failed to complete the first half, and that was in the MTN FA Cup.
And so we are seeing Asamoah Gyan starts last season for Legon Cities on your screen. There are 7 games, no goals, a total of 130 minutes of football and 0 assists. Essentially, just in terms of output on the field, we can round it off to 0. I mean, no goal, no assist for a striker. That's about 0. But of course, he did get Legon Cities the numbers in terms of their following, even on social media, and of course, in terms of the fan base, realistically. For Asante Kotoko, if they decide to sign Asamoah Gyan, what would they be signing? Would they be signing somebody who allows them to leverage on his image, just in terms of the clout that he commands globally, or they'll be signing a striker who will give them goals?
Well, I don't think Kotoko would need any boost in their brand. They're fine where they are. Legon Cities had just come about and probably needed that push. So he would have to really compete to be able to earn a spot. And I'm looking at the Kotoko team right now, and even in today's game, you look at the game, and with the striker that they started in the friendly that they're playing, you do not see the likes of Andy Kumi. There's no Evans Adomako. And then the 2 Cameroonian strikers did not start. We saw Prosper, Dr. Prosper, who's the coach there, playing some of his, trusting some of his youthful signings. And, they bought quite a number of players from the Division 1 league. And he opted to go with 1 up front. So essentially, there are about 5 to 6 strikers. Even Amankona, who they bought from Berekum Chelsea, can debutize as a striker. So you're looking at about 5-6 players who can play in that striking position. So already he has a headache up front. And so it would be really difficult to be able to convince him as to why he needs Gyan. And now you look at how Prosper loves to play one-touch football, a lot of movement. That's why he went in for Tosiche, who changed Wafe's season last time out. And what Tosiche does is that he runs down the channels a lot, and he always praises him for his work ethic. Can Gyan do that at this age? I cannot judge. He says he will work hard.
Based on what he did last season.
But he claims he's going to work hard from now to January. So maybe he can get there. But as things stand, I don't think so. So there's a lot hanging on him.
If you're making a decision for Kotoko, would you sign Jan? Purely for sporting reasons?
I mean, he's spoken a lot about supporting Kotoko, and he's been a big fan and all that. So there is some sentimental value in there. Okay. But if I had to make it purely based on objectivity, no way I'm going to sign Asamoah Gyan.
That should wrap it up. But we'll continue to monitor Asamoah Gyan. Look, there are a lot of truth when it comes to Asamoah Gyan. There is all the other truth, and then there is a one truth. In his day, if he's on form, if he's not injured, there is none better than Asamoah Gyan. That much has to be stated. But will he be able to overcome his fitness issues and really cut it in the Ghana Premier League? Will it be at Asante Kotoko? It's time. We'll see how all of that pans out. In the meantime, you can read the latest from the world of sport at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mensah. Dominic, thanks for your time.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Remember, we're still live from our studios, and you can join via social media handles. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. Now, on Sunday, the AMA and the Ladade Kotopon will partner the Green Africa Youth Organization in celebrating the World Cities Day. The event is celebrated every year to raise awareness on sustainable urbanization. The theme for World Cities Day 2021 is adapting cities for climate resilience, reflecting the fact that climate change will have a huge impact on city residents, with hundreds of millions of them experiencing floods, rising sea level, storms, and increasing periods of extreme temperatures. Ahead of tomorrow's launch, we have Desmond Alugna, right?
Yes, you got it right.
In the studio, he's a co-founder and programs manager of Green Africa Youth Organization, GAYO, and Francis Lawrence Tete is the environmental health officer at LATMA. They both join me in the studio. Good to have you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Tell me how important this event is to the World Cities celebration. Maybe we should start with you.
Yes, thank you. The importance of this event cannot be overemphasized, because it offers us the opportunity to actually adopt what we call the zero waste strategy, which we have been developing from the beginning of the year, together with waste pickers, waste collectors, waste managers, and transporters. Because urbanization, as we see it, waste management comes to the center. And then looking at this year's theme, which is climate resilient cities, waste management in Accra becomes a real critical issue for us. And this offers us that opportunity to really understand how do we mainstream this into our growth as a city.
Okay. For you, what really is the motivation to partner this?
Thank you, madam. We at LADMA, our motivation is to leverage on this upcoming event and to partner with GAYO, Green African Youth Organization, so that we can train our youth in waste management, register them, and give them certificates of recognition, so that the society will know that indeed we have recognized them, and then regulating them to do the right thing in the societies.
Let's talk about the theme for this year's World Cities Day. Adopting cities for climate resilience, right?
Yes.
What are the challenges in the first place?
Well, we would see that obviously the flooding issues is something that everybody sees, but then we also face in a very tremendous amount of urban heat waves, which is the impact of climate change having so much extreme weather conditions that we are facing. Now, to adapt to be resilient cities, we need to be able to change our living conditions. We need to be able to create green jobs. We need to be able to transform or transition our energy and transport sector into adapting to the climatic condition that we live in today. Now, to do that, some of these things is what we are doing with the waste management sector. The other thing is the green jobs that Francis rightly talked about. When we do that, then we give ourselves the opportunity to become strong and to become resistant to the impact of climate change.
For you as an environmental officer, what's the extent of challenges we're facing with our environment and the reason why this particular event will offer some solutions to the problems that we have?
All right, looking at urbanization, we know that in Accra here, about 50% of population hosts about 50% of people live in Greater Accra due to rural-urban migration, and in our municipality, which hosts the dormitory facilities in the Gamma, we have no exception, and so we realize that there are numerous waste challenges, waste management issues, and that they need to partner Green African Youth Organization so that we can be able to tackle the waste head-on.
Ahead of tomorrow's launch, so what should we expect at the launch tomorrow?
Oh yes, so at the launch tomorrow we should expect to hear great stories about waste picker mobilization, movement building processes that have happened in New Edubiase, in the East, and also in Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly, which have all fed into what we are trying to do here in Greater Accra. We should also look forward to see the launch of a zero waste model that have been produced by waste managers, management companies, together with the LADMA, and hopefully we would have the mayor of Accra coming, and this is happened to be one of her first events after being elected as a mayor. And so the momentum is high, and the hopes are also very high.
And after this launch and the celebration, what do you expect? What should be the outcome of this whole event?
Yes. So the outcome is that already we have gotten a material recovery facility at LADMA, which is located just between Trade Fair and Chadu. This material recovery facility would serve as the temporary waste bank for a lot of the waste management companies that are operating within this district. Now, what that means is that they would now be able to regulate their activity. They will be having a place to store their activity. You will not have the tricycle riders colliding with commercial vehicles on the road, because now they have a space where they can scavenge all the reusable and recyclables that are in the plastic waste. And then we are going to also be having compost sites within this same district where young people are able to go into agriculture and have organic farming as part of their goals.
Francis, for you at LADMA, what are the expected outcomes for this event?
We are expecting to see the adjoining municipal assemblies to also come and witness the event, so that at the end, when the strategy is presented to LADMA, it will be replicated across the other municipalities.
I'm grateful, guys, for coming, and we'll be there at the event tomorrow to witness the event, and we're hoping that we'll be able to resolve the issues of climate change, which is very, very important. Francis Tete is the LADMA Environmental Health Officer, and Desmond Alugnua is the co-founder and programs manager for Green Africa Youth Organization, GAWA. I'm grateful for your time, guys, and that's how we wrap up on the pulse of this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of our programs.